Foundations would like to welcome you all for this webinar and also introduce the speakers for the day, Marlena Ramachandran and Vishnupriya. Ms. Vishnupriya, she is a Regional Manager, South Region with NEN, and Marlena Ramachandran, Regional Manager, West with NEN. Before I hand over the floors to the experts, here are a few reminders for the audience, please. You all will be on mute. You may ask questions by typing in the panel provided, or if you wish to speak to the speaker directly, then you may click on the raise hand button. You will be provided the audio access only when the Q&A session begins towards the end of the session. Please ensure to share the feedback of the session with us once the webinar is over. Today's webinar, as you all have received a mail from us, wherein we have asked you to download a couple of documents which is related to the roadmap setting and planning for the institutions. I believe all of you have downloaded those documents and have gone through that. It will help you to understand, and when you listen to the speakers, it will help you to understand and plan your calendar and the activities better. So today's agenda, the agenda for today is that we will be talking about the importance of the roadmap setting, stages of entrepreneurship development in academic campuses. We will also try to map the capacity of the institutions and understand how we map our own capacities. Then we will discuss the key focus areas of entrepreneurship development in a campus and understanding different levels of programs. And last but not the least will be the NEN calendar, which will be shared. That will help you to do your customized planning after the webinar is over. So now over to you, Marlena.
Thank you, Chaitali. Good afternoon, everybody. So like Chaitali discussed, I am going to focus mainly around two areas today. The first thing that we are going to talk about is why are we even talking about roadmap and planning today? And then I will go on and talk about some of the essentials that are needed when we do entrepreneurship ecosystem planning on campus. Now when we say planning, if you look around us, there are a lot of institutes which are into entrepreneurship today. In fact, entrepreneurship is in fashion. Everyone wants to jump onto the bandwagon. But if you look at the institutes, you will generally see a lot of sporadic events. You will see some institutes which may be running, a lot of activities which have a lot of speakers coming at their campuses. You will see some institutes which are focused on incubation centers. You will see some institutes which are a mix of both, right? But what we really need to understand is, as an institute, if we are talking about entrepreneurship, end of the day, what is the expected outcome from the institute when you do activities related to entrepreneurship? So to elaborate, right? You need to start asking yourself the questions that if I am running so many activities in a year, or if I am calling so many speakers in a year, right, what is it that I want to achieve at the end of the day? So that is the basic element which constitutes any planning for entrepreneurship on a campus. If we quickly have a look at the slide given here, you will understand that systematic planning is very important. It will help you grow as an institute. What you do in the first year will become a system for you in the second year, and you will come up with new ways of doing newer things. You will also get a specific direction to work if you have a planned way of doing entrepreneurship on campus, and you will have very clear courses of action, right? The development also on your institute front will be more progressive rather than just a series of activities here and there. And most important, this is an area at NEN which we really want all of you to focus on, is everything that you have done, the number of students that you have touched, the number of faculty that you have trained, the number of entrepreneurs that you have created, all of these outcomes will suddenly become measurable because you know that this is what you want to achieve at the end of the day. So let's go on to talk about what does the process of entrepreneurship development on an academic campus constitute. Broadly, what we have observed is that any academic campus can be divided into three major groups based on the kind of activities that they run, right? We'll not go into this in much detail. We'll talk about this specific groups, individually in the next slides. But just to give you an overview, generally there are three categories. The first set is the new institutes which are new to entrepreneurship. They are very keen and they want to do stuff around entrepreneurship. right? These are the institutes which generally have young faculty who are new and who have students who really need exposure to entrepreneurship, right? These are at the basic capacity level. We also, the second set of institutes would be at the create capacity level, wherein you have a specific set of faculty who can mentor students, the courses that they run, the entrepreneurship courses that they run, the kind of programs that they run are more focused towards developing entrepreneurial skills. And these are the institutes where we have actually seen entrepreneurs coming out at graduation, and they also have a very strong group of young alumni. And at the support capacity level, if you think about the IIM Ahmedabad, or if you talk about IIT Mumbai, these are the kind of examples of the support capacity institutes which actually focus on community in entrepreneurship. So they focus on not only developing their students, but they also contribute to the external ecosystem. So ideally, universally, internationally, and now in India, this is the most ideal growth path for any academic campus if they really want to make a name for themselves in entrepreneurship. So keeping this context in the background, what I'm now going to do is, I'm going to take you through the planning document, the baselining document as we call it at NEN. The first step for any institute is to first understand its capacity, at what level this institute is right now. So all of you would have received this Excel sheet from the NEN team sometime in the last 1 week. If you have not received, you can send us a mail later. I'll just quickly take you through this sheet. You need to first assess yourself through this sheet to see what is your current capacity as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. As you can see, there are 4 to 5 major parts in this. The first capacity assessment that you need to do is you need to do this at the E-cell level. Right? You really need to understand whether you have an entrepreneurship cell existing on campus or not. And if yes, how are you defining your entrepreneurship cell? How many students does it have? How many faculty? What are the kind of programs that it organizes? How regularly? And also what is the kind of awareness that it is creating? You can just take a simple yes or no in the attached column. You also need to have a look at your students. These are some of the indicators that you can take from this sheet. You need to understand the number of members in the E-cell. The reason why you need to do this is, then year on year you will start growing these numbers. If yours is a multi-campus, you also need to understand how many students are participating from across departments. Do you have only an MBA wing which is very popular, or do you also have engineering departments which are contributing? Okay. Have you identified student leaders, who are going to lead this entrepreneurship cell? Right? Have you identified students who are starting ventures while on campus? Right? Do you have a set of students who are engaged in basic advanced training? Right? So these are the things that this sheet has been shared with you, but you really need to, stress this out at multiple levels to understand at what level your institute is at currently. As far as your faculty are concerned, again, like institutes, we feel faculty also broadly, can progress at 3 levels. You will have a new set of faculty who are very excited about entrepreneurship, but who may not really have the right knowledge. So they may start with the basics of entrepreneurship. They may start helping their students run entrepreneurship camps. They may start doing ideation workshops for their students. They may do something around business opportunity evaluation. And then as an institute, you may also have some faculty who would be at your institute who have a combination of work experience of practical work exposure plus education. These are generally the faculty who work at an advanced level, right? So if you have a student who already is running a venture, this faculty may be able to mentor the student at the initial level. They may have undergone, certain set of mentoring programs. They will know how to do structured entrepreneurship teaching. Right? They are also well networked and connected with startups outside campus. So these are your advanced level faculty. So you really need to understand what is your capacity as far as your faculty strength is concerned. The third thing, the last thing that you need to look at is what are the kind of programs that you are running on your institute, right? At one level, you may just be running regular activities like e-talks, lectures, right? Some of you may be doing a lot of brand visibility events like panel discussions, large seminars, conferences. Some of you may be interested in only doing competitions, right? So you need to really identify out of the programs listed here, broadly what are the programs that you have been running on your campus. Once you are done with this institute assessment sheet, this will clearly tell you what is missing and where is it that you need to channelize your energies on based on what are the outcomes that you're expecting at the end of the year. So we'll now go to the Excel sheet which has been sent to you. So my suggestion to you would be, from the previous slide that I spoke to you about, you first really need to understand at what level your institute falls into. Are you a new institute which is just getting started, which just has a reasonable amount of programs? Are you an institute at the mid-level, wherein you are doing certain set of good programs, you're doing certain set of experiential programs, you have some students who are interested in entrepreneurship? Or are you an institute which is at an advanced level, wherein you really want to start incubation services, you want to reach out to the community and start doing that? So please try and categorize yourself, into which bracket you fall into. That will help you understand this webinar better. What I am going to do is I am going to focus on the new institutes right now, and then my colleague Vishnupriya will focus on the advanced and the higher level institutes. Now, when it comes to a new institute, okay, what does it take for a new institute to get into entrepreneurship? So there are 3 areas where we feel you should focus on. We call it capacity building. So you need to look at your people capacity, you need to look at your infrastructure capacity, and you need to look at your program capacity. Okay? When we say people, what we really mean is the immediate steps for you as an institute should be to identify a certain set of students, at least 100, 150, who are genuinely interested in entrepreneurship. You must start with this 100, 150 students only, right? You may not really want to reach out to the whole group of students at your institute, because not everybody wants to get into entrepreneurship, and not everything is everyone's cup of tea. You also need to identify and recruit the best of your faculty facilitators. In our opinion, those faculty have worked best who are very passionate about entrepreneurship and who share a very good working relation with their students and who are excellent networkers. These are the faculties whom in the last 10 years we have seen do a tremendous job on their campus and run extraordinary e-cells. So these can be some of the criteria in identifying your faculty. You also need to ensure that as an infrastructure, academic infrastructure, your e-cell is in place, right? You need to have an e-cell which comprises of the group of students, 10-15 group of students ideally. This e-cell will be your core committee which will be responsible for running all entrepreneurship programs on campus. In the long run, the faculty will only be mentoring this e-cell, right? So for a new institute, these are the 3-4 areas which you really need to get working on before you even think about planning an activity. You also need to ensure, very importantly, that your e-cell will keep a track of what kind of reports are coming in, what kind of programs are being run. It markets this on Facebook, on Twitter. So all of this initial marketing efforts will also start happening now. What we will also do is, while you start building this infrastructure, this setup on your campus, from NEN, we are going to run a host of support programs for you to help give you the knowledge, expertise, and network and visibility as an institute in entrepreneurship. When we talk about knowledge, there are some faculty programs that we will run for the faculty. So throughout the year, we will have a lot of onboarding webinars. You are attending one such webinar right now. There will be an orientation to entrepreneurship. There will be a lot of topic-based webinars that we have planned for you. Another interesting thing that we have come up is a facilitator courses. If some of you have been members of NEN in the past, initially we used to run a lot of faculty development programs. The idea was to get faculty into the room, expose them to the best resources from entrepreneurship, and then help this faculty go back and run this with the students. But what we realized is, many faculty, while they were in the room, there was definitely a lot of understanding about the subject, but they wanted additional support when they went and conducted this with their students. So we have launched an online platform wherein the course content will be available to you through different channels. You need to use this content You will also be given, as a facilitator, you will be given supporting notes, what kind of exercises, competitions, etc. you need to run along with this content, and you can run this for your students. So this will start from basic and it will go on till the advanced. So this will be a big support factor for all faculty who really want to become a facilitator for entrepreneurship. We will also have webinars on mentoring skills. So as you will know, most of the faculty who are running entrepreneurship in campus, you will have a lot of students who keep on reaching out to you with ideas. You will find students who will tell you that I have an idea and I want to take this to the next level. What is the next step that I do? So they need an initial mentoring, from the faculty. So we're also going to run a webinar on mentoring skills, which will help build your mentoring skills and help you do the first level of mentoring for your students. Apart from the faculty, we also feel it is important to engage with the students. Sometimes, what we have observed is when students are on the campus and the same faculty keep doing programs for them, they need a change. So what we also do is we encourage colleges to send faculty to each other's campuses so there's a change for the students. At our end, NEN will run a lot of programs for students and specifically with a focus on aspiring and student entrepreneurs. Right? There will be webinars, workshops. We're going to do a lot of experiential learning programs wherein students will be doing stuff and learning through NEN. Right? The course that we spoke about for faculty, we will have online certificate courses for students as well. Our very popular Smarty Apprenticeship Challenge, I'm sure most of your students would be competing for one such challenge right now. But if not, I'll just quickly brief you about it. This is a challenge which NEN has launched. What we have done is we identify popular startups in India. We try to understand what their problems are and then we convert this into a competition for our member institute students. The students learn, what challenges startups face hands-on, and the winners are generally given vouchers, prizes through the startup, and there are opportunities for placements with the startups directly. So this will come to you through NEN. There will also be a lot of meetups and boot camps, in and around your cities, depending upon how many institutes, how many students are available there. And we will do Mentor Connect programs as well for the students. When you do so much, obviously there's a need to be recognized. So at the institute level, for everybody who is doing and contributing to the word entrepreneurship, NEN has a lot of recognition programs lined up. For this year, for everybody who's been member of NEN in the past, you would have heard about our widely popular on eWeek India program and the Tata First Dot. This year we're going to club all of these programs into one big festival. We'll declare more details about this later, but just to briefly touch upon this, this is going to be a 2 or 3 day entrepreneurship festival in one city, wherein we are actually going to celebrate entrepreneurship. So we will have entrepreneurship in films, we plan to call people like Ronnie Screwvala. We want to do entrepreneurship in sports where we want to call Sania Mirza. So that's the level of conclave that has been planned in entrepreneurship. We will celebrate and facilitate the best faculty, the best institutes, the best student entrepreneurs. So it's going to be one big amalgamation of and celebration of entrepreneurship. You will get more details about this program, once it is fleshed out more properly, but this is definitely on the cards sometime in February. So this was the NEN support that we shared with you. At the institute level also, once you have your faculty and your student ECL in place, you need to start building your first activity plan in place. Right? Ideally, we will also reach out to you with an NEN ECL program. So we will let you know what kind of programs to be run. But meanwhile, you need to start identifying 6 to 7 activities that you would want to run throughout the year on your campus for your students. You will have to actually start tracking participation impact. I really want to stress upon the fact, that you need to track participation impact is because what we've really observed is sometimes in doing activities and events, we get so lost. End of the event, we are actually not interested or we are so tired that we don't want to keep the report. Now, these reports come really handy, not only for you, but whenever you have any accreditations, whenever government wants to give you any sort of funding, all of these reports are going to be very handy. So we will also want you to share this with us for the simple reason that we want to keep monitoring we need to continue and what do we need to stop. So please take this very seriously as an institute. You will really need to track participation, contact numbers, impact of students, whoever you are impacting. NEN will expect quarterly and annual reports from you for the same. That will help us in researching what needs to be done for the next year. We also recommend all faculty which are leading programs on campus to specifically run programs or directly through themselves. What we have seen is, faculty go and bring external experts to run workshops, which is fine. You do need external experts, but as a faculty, if you are going to lead entrepreneurship on your campus, you really need to start building your capacity as a faculty, which is why more and more students will start reaching out to you, right? I've already listed out the NEN support available to you. And apart from that, if there's anything specific that you're looking for, you can always reach out to us. We will be sharing the email ID towards the end of the presentation. We will be very happy to support you. I want to spend some time on telling you how the member institute benefits. Sometimes what happens is this is more like a service industry. So most of this stuff we get lost in doing things, and we don't really understand the benefits of our efforts. So quickly I'll just take you through what are the benefits for a member institutes and what you should be tracking. Generally when this range of programs happen on campus with a lot of energy, we see that at least if yours is a 600 to 700 member student institute, at least 100 students from different departments are exposed to entrepreneurship education. These are the kind of ratio that we have seen in the past. You have a well-organized ECEL which works quite independently, and it plays a very important role in building the ecosystem. So in the first year, you may have to put efforts into identifying the students, but then it becomes an independent organized ECEL. You will start building your panel of resources. So when you invite someone, that entrepreneur knows that this student is into entrepreneurship. In fact, we have seen examples wherein entrepreneurs were invited by student ECELs, and the quality of ECEL was so good that the entrepreneur actually offered jobs to some of these students, So these are like some of the back-end benefits which happen, when you start practicing entrepreneurship on your campus. Your faculty, the institute faculty, will start getting entrepreneurship training and exposure. Participating in a lot of festivals, so your institute will get a lot of visibility. What happens is, when we run an NEN event in any city, any meetup, and there are a group of students who come across from the institute, slowly the word spreads, that this institute is very popular and, their students are very good. So it's an indirect, visibility or branding for the institutes as well. Obviously, these days the government is playing a huge role, so there are a lot of funds available through the government, through partners. So if you do Yeah, I think we lost the audio connection in between. I'll just repeat. The last point was that the government is really wanting to support entrepreneurship. So every institute which has been doing well and which has been running structured programs and has a good capacity, there are possibility of getting funding through the government. And obviously there's a lot of access to knowledge, training, funds, mentors, experts, etc. The last 2 points that we want to talk about, when you put your plan in place is, you need to really focus on what are the outputs that you want from your activities at the end of the year and what is the expected outcome. I will talk about the outcome first. If you run these activities well, right, as an institute, you must ensure that you have a target for yourself, that you have at least students who are going to start their ventures. You must also have a very clear target that you have students who are in ideation stage who come with ideas. Now, we have many, we have an argument here. We have a lot of people who come back and tell us, that entrepreneurs are born, not made. You can't force anyone to become an entrepreneur, right? So to counter that, what I would like to explain is, you don't really have to force anybody to become an entrepreneur. But we have seen that across most institutes, there are a group of students who are very willing to become an entrepreneur, right? But these students never reach out to the institute for support. For the simple reason that these students don't see value in the support coming to them from the institute. So as an institute, your responsibility should be to build that visibility for yourself, for your students. Your students should have enough confidence that if I reach out to the ESL of my institute, I will get that committed support that I need to start my venture. If you're able to identify that group of students and start supporting them, you have done your job, at least for the first year. So these are the outcomes that you really need to focus on. Obviously, you will also have a lot of outputs, when you do these activities. You will have faculty. You need to ensure that 2 of your faculty will be oriented and trained in entrepreneurship. So as management, you'll have to take out time, allow with the faculty to go out for conferences if needed, training if needed. You also have to come up with a number of students that you feel end of the year you will be able to say that these are the number of students who are actively engaged in various ESL programs. We cannot give you that number target here because each institute has their own set of numbers, but you need to have a specific group of students who are actively engaged in ESL programs. You also need to identify 35 to 50 entrepreneurially advanced students to work on their idea. The reason we have come up with this number is if you have 35 to 50 entrepreneurially advanced students who are very clear that they want to start their own venture, there are chances that out of this only 2 or 4 will actually become entrepreneurs. So these are the ratios that you need to look at as a new institute. If this is what you can do in the first year, you will be good to go into the next level. I think with that, I am done for my part. Vishnu, I'd like to now hand over to you to take on the next session.
Thank you, Marlena. Yeah, so taking up on Marlena's discussion on a new institute which is starting the ESL. If you have done your groundwork well in the first year of your new ESL and have created this ecosystem of students, faculty, management who are interested in the whole of it, and they have been engaged through the year with the programs that we ran you through in the last half an hour, then you have a very good ecosystem. And where do you take this ecosystem to the next level? How do you take it to the next level? You cannot be doing base level activities like this. And as we discussed, the outcome and output is very, very important. So right now what has happened is, as you must all be aware, the government has insisted that we need to create more entrepreneurs. Government has insisted that every institute has to have an ESL. Government has insisted that every ESL should be doing output outcome related events. So ESL should not be just an event, cell kind of a thing. You have to work towards definitive goals. So the first level is the interest and engaged, which Marlena took you through. Now what do you do with all this pocket of students and faculty who have come in interested and engaged? You need to take them to the next level. So along with those activities, start the next level of activities, which is actually the create level of activities. Create is where you have created young entrepreneurs. Over the last 1 year, you've actually managed to create people who say, hey, I want to actually try my hand at entrepreneurship. So whilst the first level covers basic programs like talks, entrepreneurial meets, documentary screening, and small exercises and a very basic course, the second one actually filters out the students who come and say, I have experienced entrepreneurship for 1 year. Now I want to try my hand at entrepreneurship. So basically it's the same thing. You have to build the people capacity, you should build the physical infrastructure, and you should build the programmatic infrastructure. So now in the people infrastructure, you do have the very interested students who are out to try things. What we recommend is start playing with entrepreneurship in college itself. Because when you go out and try in the market, if you fall hard. Nobody in the market is really going to come and hold you or cushion you. But if you try entrepreneurship in your college itself, the cushioning is there. The college cushions you, faculty cushions you, ecosystem partners like us cushion you. So what happens is this particular tribe that you have created, you need to increase this tribe. Tribes must increase, otherwise they will die out. So your membership base, that's the basic thing which you started with about 100 members, you should aim for getting more than 300 active members. You could have 400, you could have 500, but active is the word that you should be looking at. They should not be hanging around just like that. Everybody should have something to do. So for that, you should have a very neat planning and a hierarchy wherein the fourth years will be doing the most advanced kind of activities like planning and, assigning, delegating and all of that. The third year will be doing actual probably, the manager's role wherein they have teams, they manage their teams and all of that. And the second year and the first year students will actually be learning hands-on. They will be like the field staff who actually go out and do the work. So that systematic, growth should be there year after year after year, and that is called succession planning. So increase your membership base. Unless you do that, you will never have scope for succession planning, and it will die out with the group that moves out. And if your group is growing so big, if the student group is growing so big, automatically you should have the facilitator group also growing big to support this big group of students. So side by side, the facilitators need to come, they need to teach themselves, they need to attend the NEN programs, they need to equip their knowledge better to deal with a higher level of students. So that is very strongly recommended. Now I will talk about the kind of students that will be there in the second level and why we need facilitators to get into this higher level of thinking. Okay, and then you should have, it should run like a corporate company. In the create level, your eCell must run like a corporate company. It should have a HR division, a PR division, a documentation division, different kinds of finance division, an admin. So you have to learn to run. So this is experiential teaching, which NEN always says, learn through experience, learn through experience. So even when students sit for their placement, they have good stories to tell. And every placement officer is looking for these stories. He or she in the placement division wants to hear something other than academics. They know very well what you do, how much you scored. It is there on the table. What do you do beyond that? How entrepreneurial are you? How are you going to take their company to the next level? Have you been a leader? So how do you tell those people, how do you articulate that you have been a good leader? So that your story you will develop out of being in your eCell and doing the higher level of activities. So that also is something which has been very evident over the last few years, wherein students who have done these sort of activities get placed at a higher salary than most normal people do. And the students who started their own businesses, they have an advantage because from the second year upwards, they are, dabbling in business, they are understanding customers, they are understanding supply chain, they are understanding finances and all of that. So what happens at the second level is, they will come and ask, can I run my company? I would like to run a company. So why not? You run a company for a day, 2 days, 3 days. So the stress in the second level, the create level, would be for you to start campus companies. Now also what we've noticed is students start campus companies and they are a one man or a one woman, one girl or a one boy concern. Think a little beyond that. Over the years, we have seen students who employ about 23, 24, 30 people, even as they are studying, and it's not like they do badly in their studies either. We have always wondered, will the studies get affected? Some of these students seem to be able to strike a good balance. So the second level for what you will be aiming for is to start campus companies and to have startups of your own. Now the kind of programs that you will be running is very similar to what you would do in the create level, and you will have the webinars. Here also we have help coming in very positively. So faculty need not do it alone, students need not do it alone, NEN need not do it alone. So all together form one NEN team, and then you run the events. You take webinars like this and play it for your eCell. You take the workshops and play it for your eCell. Some workshops you do individually, some workshops you bring external people to do, and the workshops that happens here on the NEN platform, you can always take into it and make it part of your calendar. Make it part of your event. It is your event. It is done for you. It is your event. You take it and you run it. Okay, then we have experiential learning programs. This is where I said in the second level would be your campus companies and student startups. So that goes on, and then you enroll for your ESL program. In the ESL, there will be, you know, input on basic programs, mid-level programs, high-level programs. So you can, because it is online, it gives you a lot of freedom to help yourselves to what you want. Initially, when we were doing, it was all, you know, very physical, logistics. It was such a nightmare. All of you had to come to one space. We had to book a hall. Faculty had to run around. Now we are enabling everything in this blended learning where you do a bit online and you do a bit offline. So I think that is a very good way to do. And these online programs like a Smarty Apprentice Challenge and your MOOCs and all, your boot camps, give you the scope to work out of college also. So that way you don't get to miss colleges. Getting your ODs may be a bit of a nightmare. So you will learn to balance, you will learn to be entrepreneurial, and you will take things to the next level. So for this level also, yeah, we are suggesting you look very, very carefully at the Smarty Challenge. The more students participate, the more is the impact, the more branded your institute gets. And this is the stage where you need to go out, start networking. In the first level is very well when you're getting interested, when you're getting engaged, you are within your college, you are within your campus. But in the create stage, unless you move out, unless you attend networking events, unless you attend meetups, unless you attend boot camps, you will never grow beyond the four walls. You know, it's like a frog in the well kind of a syndrome. So we've seen very good E-cells which have not managed to progress beyond what they have been simply because they have not moved beyond their classrooms, their college and their E-cell. Yeah. So now that you have an advanced level of students, who caters to these students? Who is going to take care of their advanced needs? So when you run a campus company, when you run a startup, you come across any number of problems because you're practically running a business. Your team is not sticking around together. You're not finding the time to delegate work for each other. You don't know how to manage inventory. Electricity problems you are having. Money management, you're finding it difficult. So then those students come and ask the faculty, ask the teams, we need information about all of this. So at the create stage, what should happen is you should be attending the higher level of workshops and thinking at a higher level. And if you're not getting it inside your campus, you must go out for these meetups and boot camps and mentor connect programs and learn out of it. Now we have specific MOOCs that are being run for student entrepreneurs. We're having specific MOOCs being run for entrepreneurs. I want to be an entrepreneur. What do I do? What is my first thing that I have to do? What is the second thing that I have to do? So these sort of very intricate and intense questions start coming in at the second level. So this is why we have introduced the MOOC course, which is the online courses that we have for faculty as well as for students. So please harness onto it. We can only give. Taking is entirely up to you. You and the faculty form a smart team and try to dip into all of these resources. Next we come to the entrepreneurship events. So unless you make this move in this stage, it becomes very difficult for scaling up. So here is the E3 Upstart, all the E3 events that are happening. These are the programs that you should be concentrating on. So for the E3 programs, if Marlena can add a word or two, that will be helpful.
Yeah, so like I already said in my previous talk, the E3 is going to be something called Excellence in Entrepreneurship. It is all going to be about celebration. So what we really urge you is, whatever you are running on your campus, please keep a detailed report, please keep pictures of it, try and keep as many report signatures, documented proof that you can about whatever you are doing on your campus. Because during E3, we are going to invite all of this information from you, and this is really going to be used to judge some of the best campuses, the best faculty, and the best student entrepreneurs. The idea is to do this in one particular city. We are currently in talks with 1 or 2 cities across India. You will be invited for 3 days to this city, and throughout the day, if you would have been to similar cultural festivals, this is going to be an entrepreneurship festival at its best. So that's the plan for E3 currently. We will be sharing more details about it very soon, maybe in the next 1 or 2 months. Yeah, that's it from my end.
Yeah. So taking up on this, so we have the Upstart program, we have the Educators Conclave, we have the E-Week, we have the Startup Showcase, and we have Startup Recognition. So unless you have startups in your college, you know, there's no way that you could participate in higher level programs like this. So suggestion is have a clear target and say this year we are going to start 12 startup companies, or we are going to have 15 startup companies. And then even in that you can segregate. If you're a core technology, if you're a engineering college, you could say we are going to have 9 core companies and we are going to have 4 or 5 service related companies. You know, don't all go into service, don't all of you go into web designing. We need to see a higher level here. We need to see companies which can employ more people. The underlining is how many people is your company employing. So don't look at anything below, you know, 10 people where you can employ and give jobs. It could be part-time, it could be half, it could be full-time, whatever it is. But look at employing at least 10 people. That is when you vision yourself and you start bigger companies. Yeah. So what sort of activities goes on in this create stage? Emphasis is on structured programs. Like I said, your thinking becomes very structured in the second stage. So you start asking structured questions. So you should have structured programs, higher level programs on cash flow management, marketing, funding for your company, team building. You know, most students come and tell, we have big teams, ma'am, in on paper, but they are not coming, you know, there are only 2 people working finally. What do we do? You need to solve all of that. So they are very structured programs that you can run at this particular level. Your resale programs should be calendarized, should be dated, and it should run as per schedule. Okay, so publish the calendar of programs for the year in the beginning of the year itself. Now I think it's about 2 months since colleges have started, so it's not late. Keep a date for the calendar to be done. After this, towards the end, I will give you a sample of what you could do. That will be very useful. Organize large-scale awareness programs, and like I covered the whole thing, networking should be the key in the second level. Faculty should also scale up side by side and go to a higher level of programmatic management. And have how does the member institute benefit? Marlena covered that in the beginning itself. She said once you get seen and heard, then your institute gets branded. Once your institute comes in the paper or the press, I mean your principal, your chairperson are going to allow you to do anything, because every college loves to be seen and heard in the press. So try to act smart about it. Get a team which is in charge of your press releases and everything. Make sure that your programs get showcased outside and your college gets the branding that it deserves for doing the higher level of activities. You must also make sure that your college gets known by the number of student entrepreneurs that are created. The normal trend is highest placement in this college. Now let's make it look like, you know, highest number of student entrepreneurs coming out of this college. And that's the way I think we should be heading. Outcomes again is ideation students go to the next level and become startup entrepreneurs. So we should have 4 to 5 entrepreneurs, but I'm putting the scale a little higher and saying, you know, aim for 12. Between student ventures, campus companies, aim for 12 to 15, nothing less than that. So faculty train side by side, and you should have advanced level students of at least 100 minimum number. So if you have a team of 300, 400, advanced level should be at least minimum. Now from this level, you have to go to the next level, which would be the high performance E-cell. Again, as Marlena, you know, she said, colleges like IIT Bombay, IIM, and all of them are in the stage where they are supporting entrepreneurs from the community. So for that, you should have huge capacity if you want to support people from the community. So again, your base, membership base should be heavy, so that, you know, these big events can be supported by all these students who are wanting to this sort of exposure. And faculty should be in the mentor stage over here. They must most definitely be able to mentor students as well as entrepreneurs from the outside. When entrepreneurs come for programs, they are going to reach out to your faculty for some sort of mentoring. So they have to have that capacity to mentor them. So faculty side by side should go for the higher level of learning. And high impact programs. Run the normal programs, but have high impact programs. What we've seen out of high impact programs is a student who would have otherwise been placed for a 3 lakh, 4 lakh CTC, after being seen at that event has gotten placed for 15 lakh CTC from a very ordinary college. We've seen that. We've seen students who again would have gone into a very ordinary job for again a 4 lakh, 5 lakh CTC. When they have started their own entrepreneurship ventures, they are earning minimum of around 15 lakh CT per year. They are earning 15 lakh. So why should they take a job which is giving them 3 to 4 lakh per year? This is something also we have seen because of the high level programs. If you're going at the same base level programs, you are never going to see this output and outcome. So look at high level programs and log on to the NEN programs also if you want to go, if you're having doubt about yourselves having the capacity to go to the higher level program, get into these higher end webinars and workshops which I have highlighted down below. You have workshops, webinars, experiential learning, online ESL programs, certificate courses. These are all there for the different levels. So just log on to that, take help and gain the knowledge. Your institute activity plan should have, your content should be different when compared to a new institute or a new ESL. Your calendar cannot reflect the same kind of activities that a basic new ESL starts. So we should have a better quality of content, you should have higher quality of workshops, larger kind of programs that you have. You should move on to the national and regional kind of events. Your college should start reaching out to community entrepreneurs, bring them in. You can bring them in for courses, you can bring them for networking events, you can just bring them for simple activities, you can bring them for topic specific. People, entrepreneurs from the market has nobody supporting them if they want some information on how do I work my cash flow management. They don't have anybody to help them. So as colleges, as ESLs, these high performance ESLs has to be a place where entrepreneurs from the community can reach out to. Then most important is to track your impact. Very, very important is track your impact. So we have shared your impact tracking sheet. If you don't have, please write back to us. We will send that sheet. End of the year, when you show your management, this is the impact we have created. That satisfaction to you and the management is unimaginable. So then your ESL would be on a great track to go. And again, when it comes to faculty, they lead higher level mentor programs and they have to, track and monitor programs, participation and outcome. Outcome is very, very important because now we need to start tracking our alumni entrepreneur who have gone out. Every good ESL will know all details about their entrepreneurs who have moved out of the college. They will track them and they will see how they can help them. So that is very, very important. Your alumni database is very important. Your student entrepreneur database is very important. And when you know the kind of programs that you're going to do, you will know the kind of money that you want, the funding that you want. You can actually ask college in the beginning of the year, you can budget and say, see, this is the budget we need for our ESL. You put in so much, we will put in so much. And then you will work on programs where you can start generating that income. So member institute benefit again is all the branding that comes in with fantastic activities, the name that is going to be plastered across the press, the name that is going to be mentioned in newspapers, all that is going to be coming on for the college as benefits for them. Benefits for you as students, you can always say I was a part of a first dot, I was a part of the MOOCs courses that were happening, and believe me, even when you're going for higher studies, this makes a huge difference. I know ESL students who have gotten into Stanford and MIT simply because they have been participating in high-level activities like this. So if you have aims of even going for higher studies, this is what is a stepping stone for you. So use that. And so now we're looking at all these high growth, all of that. Now, how do you track? What is your planning document? Let me take you to the planning document here. This is how your planning document should look. You calendarize your events, and this is how it is. So if you can see, we've broken it by the month, and on the left, if you can see, this is all the events that should be done in your college. It could be done as an institute, or it could be done with other organizations. And if you're wondering what the red highlighted ones are, those are the programs which NEN will be running for all of you, which you need to latch on to and make the best use of. So if you see basic entrepreneurship workshop, that workshop we are doing, there's one in July, August, September and October. So like that, topic specific webinars, like I said, for the advanced institutes and the high performance institutes, this is very, very important. If you feel you're going to have difficulty in doing these topic specific workshops, then log on to this and regularly get the dates. We have shared the dates also of when these webinars are going to be held. So log on to this, and continuously we have through July, August, September, October, November. And then we have the online ESL program MOOC, which we are running in these 2 months. There's a gap in the middle in October, and then the remaining 3 months we are running. Then the orientation program. So this is how you have to put your calendar. So all the gap areas that you see here, and I mean all these months over. So when you see these from September upwards, please put all the activities that you're going to be doing. July, August, please put down the activities that you've already done and start tracking each and every activity, the students who have attended, the repeat students who have attended, and then that impact assessment sheet will come out very well. So here are the full program on the left. We have shared this sheet with the team, so please help yourselves to this sheet. All the sheets have been shared. Faculty, please feel free to share this with your ESL students so that everybody has an insight on what they have to aim for. So here is open to student entrepreneurs. Start tracking. That is very, very important. Advanced topic workshops, B-plan workshops, B-plan competitions, expert talks, boot camps, all of that is there. So your sheet must look full by the end of the year. Every quarter start tracking. Every square in this should be filled up, and then you know you have a very robust ESL. All these segments should be full. Your faculty segment should be full. Your mentor segment should be full. Your event segment and your student entrepreneur segment, all that should be full. For the very basic, programs that you're running, or for new institutes that are running, the first level should, the one in the top, open to students and aspiring entrepreneurs, that should be absolutely packed. For the mid-level and the higher level, the second and the third, as you move to the bottom of the sheet, should be absolutely packed. But all of you aim for packing your whole sheet. So, so this is how you will have to do your planning document. If you have any doubts, please reach back to us and we'll be happy to share anything with you. Now, so what are the key outputs we are looking at after all of this? We are looking at systematic planning, regular implementation of programs, not randomly, sporadically doing events and activities. There should be a system and a process to the way you're running your show. Yeah. So there should be a system to how you're running the show, and students should be actively participating, not someone who took part 6 months back and then come again another 6 months back. That generally is not very growth oriented. And you should have faculty, passionate faculty who are ready to take you to the next level and the next level. I mean, we've seen faculty who start the year by saying, this year I'm going to create this many entrepreneurs. They start out the year like that. Now, if all of you take a decision like that and take a vow like that and say, I am going to do this year, then definitely I think we are good to go. So here are the 3 outcomes that we are looking at: ideation students, student entrepreneurs, alumni entrepreneurs. We are not looking only at the entrepreneurs, we are also looking at the number of people these entrepreneurs are giving employment to. That is very, very critical. So I think I'm done with what I have to say. I can throw the floor open to questions now. You can even type your question in as you want. We will be watching your screens. Chatali, you have any questions? We are open to question taking. Please share your questions with us.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Yes. I am Dr. Umesh Gupta from JK Lakshmipat University, Jaipur.
Yes, Dr. Gupta.
Yes, actually we have a problem. What we are facing in organizing ECL activities is that there's a tight academic schedule, and that academic schedule, if we organize any activity along with all expert lectures and industrial visits, it becomes very difficult to hold 2 hours or 3 hours or 5 hours workshop on any given day. So
Right.
means how do we but at the same time we have been successful in organizing like a few companies also. We have started in one incubation cell. Students have started one company called NGO. Students are running cafeteria, students are running beauty parlor. So several things we have done, but still we are facing challenge in terms of organizing activities at the campus. So can you suggest something that how do we go with the classes as far as these ECL activities are concerned?
Yeah, valid question, and this is a problem we've seen, I think, over the last 8-9 years from the time, we started this entrepreneurship movement, because our academic schedules are not, very accommodative of this extra time that you need for entrepreneurship. So blended learning is the way we need to go, Dr. Gupta. That is why NEN has brought in so many online modules, so getting online modules for students and blending it, so a 4-hour workshop, if you have a 1 hour of online module and then you have a 2 hour of work that goes along with the module, which can be done in the off college hours, I think that's the best way we can balance out activities. That is proving to be a...
OOC is the better option, best option.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And even for campus companies, it's a struggle, no doubt about it, it's a struggle, but different colleges have dealt with it differently. Some open their campus companies only during break time, lunch time, and after college hours. The director is very clear in saying that, they don't want external people to come and run the company, then the children don't learn. So students learn to balance it in some certain way, where their studies are not affected and they don't have
also we face one challenge as far as running cafeteria is concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, when our students run cafeteria, they could get some cook to cook the things and everything, but later on cook left, and these kind of challenges they faced, and due to their examination, other academic activities, they could not run the cafeteria continuously, regularly, and now the problem is that cafeteria is coming to an end. So
fantastic.
This is also a kind of challenge that we are facing in this.
No, it's a learning, doctor. We look for something like this to happen, because then they learn what it is, when they understand the labor problem. Closing of a company is very good because they understand where they should exit, not just carry on, when it's not proving fruitful. We actually recommend companies closing down because the learning is much more there than when it's running very smoothly.
Okay.
The more the problems, the more the learning.
Dr. Gupta, just one more thing I'd like to add. We had a similar, cafeteria is, one of the most common campus companies run across most campuses. We had one institute in Indore which faced a similar problem. The way out that they did was, every fortnight they used to come together to discuss, what are the kind of challenges that they are facing. And they came together with a very clear intention of how to sort this out. So in this case, what they've actually done is at the cafeteria, they've identified another student from the campus who's a part of the UG campus, and she is someone who's not financially very stable. So they actually found an employee who was willing to learn, and she worked as an employee for this company, and she managed the show. And now the cafeteria is doing so well that she has brought one more person to work with her, because one person can't manage it. So the whole idea is, as many problems as come up, we come together, discuss, and come up with identifiable solutions.
It's a nice idea. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
It's
I would
over
suggest
from my side.
Yeah, I would suggest just go for campus companies. Let them try, let them fall, let them lift themselves up. I mean, that is the best way to learn.
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions?
Some of the questions, hello. We
Yeah,
have
yeah.
received
Yes.
couple of questions from faculty who are asking about the faculty training programs. So now the programs from NEN are going to be mostly done online and through webinars. And some of the modules are also available on NEN online TV. So they can go and check and, find out what are there available, and also attend the programs that we will be running in the future, which will be obviously online and webinars. So they can check the calendar which is given, and we will be sharing another calendar with all the participants, all the colleges.
Yes, and I would also suggest on the NEN website, when you go to nenglobal.org, if you look to the left-hand corner at the bottom, you will see subscribe for information on different programs. So we have for you, you can subscribe only to webinars, you can subscribe only to facilitators programs, you can subscribe for entrepreneur course or whatever. You can ask for details about that. Then you'll get intimation of whenever the courses are being run. So that is available on nenglobal.org website.
Okay, then we will be closing now. So thank you very much, Marlena and Vishnu, for that interesting session. Thank you all for attending our webinar and participating actively in the discussion. We are glad that questions kept coming, but due to the lack of time, we are unable to answer all of them. But please do send your feedback, and whether you found the session interesting and whether it was useful. And the recorded version of the webinar will be available on www.youtube.com/user/eclub-NEN online by Wednesday. And we shall share the details of our next webinar soon. Just a request that kindly go back to the documents that we have shared with you, go through that, and also please share the number of participants from each of the institutions, and also the student entrepreneur information that we have requested you to share it with us. So kindly we would request all of you to go back and share the details as early as possible. Thank you.
We have sent the link for the student entrepreneurs, Chatali,
Yeah,
isn't it?
we have shared a link which is basically is a an spreadsheet where the data will be, they can capture the data and they can send it back to us. So this has been sent along with the planning document and the roadmap setting document. So we would request all of you to go through these documents once again to understand the today's webinar, and also to share those details with us regarding the student entrepreneurs. So thank you once again and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Bye.